I, 26M, spent 3 years in my parents' basement being the family punching bag. To my father, 58M, I was a digital hobo and a leech. To my mother, 55F, I was a social stain they had to hide from their country club friends. They saw me sitting in front of 4 monitors in the same hoodie every day and assumed I was playing games or pretending to work. They had no idea I'm actually the founder of a SaaS platform and a high-frequency trading firm. Last year, my personal take-home was $15.2 million. I didn't tell them.
Why?
Because my father measures a man's worth by the car in the driveway, and my mother treats family like a credit card. If they knew I had money, I wouldn't be a son anymore. I'd be an ATM. The explosion happened 3 weeks ago. I was in the middle of a massive server deployment. Literally millions of dollars were moving. I hadn't slept or showered. My father kicked my door open without knocking and looked at my desk, which was covered in espresso cans. He lost it. He called me a parasite and a disgrace to the family name. He told me they were selling the house, moving to a condo in Florida, and there wasn't a room for me. He actually yelled, "Go live in the streets for all I care." My mother stood behind him and told me they were tired of explaining my failure to their friends. I didn't argue. I didn't show them my bank app. I just smiled, packed my server rack and my monitors into my old 2012 Honda Civic, and left. I checked into a 5-star hotel suite and called my lawyer. I told him I wanted to buy my parents' house anonymously through a holding company. I wanted a 14-day cash close. My father, thinking he was a genius, jumped at the all-cash offer because the anonymous buyer offered $50,000 over asking. He had no idea he was selling his home to the son he just evicted. The move-out day was yesterday. My father was on the porch, looking smug, waiting for the new owners to show up. He'd negotiated a 72-hour holdover after closing, which had officially expired. When my lawyer and the property managers walked up, my father tried to act like the big shot. He told them he needed another week to pack. My lawyer didn't blink. He handed him the papers and said, "As of 9 a.m., my client owns this property. Every hour you stay is trespassing. We have a demolition crew arriving in 20 minutes. That's when I stepped out of the black SUV. The look on my father's face was worth every cent. He started screaming that I was a loser and to get off his property. I just looked at him and said, "Actually, Dad, it's my property, and I want you off it." The entitlement didn't take long to come out. Once they realized I was the buyer, they didn't apologize. Instead, my father demanded I give them the house back or pay for their Florida condo because family takes care of each other. My sister, 30F, and brother, 28M, showed up and started calling me a monster for tricking them into selling their childhood home. I reminded them that they told me to go live in the streets. I told them that because my father hid structural issues during the inspection, issues I knew about because I lived in the basement, I was freezing the escrow funds. Their Florida deal? It was contingent on this house closing cleanly. Since I was contesting the sale due to his fraud, his money was stuck. He lost his $100,000 deposit on the Florida place because he couldn't close on time. The sheriff arrived 10 minutes later. My parents had to pack what they could into trash bags while a deputy watched. My successful brother had to cram my mother's precious china into the back of his leased BMW. They're currently staying at a budget motel while my father tries to find a lawyer who won't laugh at him for trying to sue his own son for being more successful than him. I'm moving the demolition crew in today. The basement where I was a failure is getting turned into a gym. Turns out, the view from the top is a lot better when you aren't carrying people who hope you fail. If you enjoyed seeing a basement dweller foreclose on his own bullies, make sure to subscribe. I've got plenty more stories about how my perfect siblings are handling their new life in a 2-bedroom rental. Would you guys want to hear about the time my brother tried to borrow my car not knowing I'd already reported it stolen?